Today is Sunday, so it is meal prep day in our house. It's the day where we get everything ready for the week. This week, Shane actually has a work trip, so we definitely have to make sure we get everything packed up and ready to go for that so he can stay on track while he is away. I think the biggest key to success with meal planning is definitely planning ahead, sitting down, taking an hour just to plan out what you're gonna eat that week. We typically eat the same thing for probably a month rotation. So really you could sit down and plan out the whole month. I put everything onto a list for the week. So I plan out everything from the kids' meals, from their snacks, their lunches, as well of course as our meals and everything. So this week we've had a bit of a change for Shane for what his calories will be. So I've designed something that will work for his new calories. Mine pretty much stays the same these days. So we're just gonna stick with that. But I definitely would say sitting down, planning, making sure you have all the ingredients when you go shopping, make sure everything is planned. So that way you can also cook a huge vat of chicken, beef, of potatoes, sweet potatoes, rice, and then you can freeze it all. That really makes it easier if you have a really busy schedule. I like to start with a little chalkboard list here of what I'm going to be working on. I also love to be able to cross things out. So, you know, that kind of keeps me on track. So to start, I have some lean beef cooking. We're actually just using lean because it's a bit cheaper. Then rinse it, drain it, and then it actually becomes extra lean. So don't waste your money on more expensive beef that you don't need to. We're also going to be doing some sauteed cabbage. This is actually just the bags of cabbage that you find in the grocery with the salads. It's super tasty when you saute it down. It's the secret way that I get Shane to eat cabbage. So now that we got the beef cooking, I'm just waiting for Shane to get home with the chicken. I'm gonna start the rice. So I just use a rice cooker. I find it's very easy to do. I don't like to mess with the pot. I seem to burn it every time. I'm a Red Seal chef and I still can't seem to get rice to work in a pot. So definitely use a rice cooker. I'm gonna do 5 cups of rice and 7 cups of water. If you don't have time, you could definitely make a whole bunch of rice, throw it into Ziploc bags, flatten it and put it into the freezer. And then you could just take it out as you need it. Look who's home and got the meat.
Got the meat.
How do you say you're a bodybuilder without saying you're a bodybuilder? And a nerd. Nice Star Wars shirt. Next up on the food prep list is one of our favorites. It's the baked oats. So today I'm gonna do chocolate chip banana oats. This one is nice and easy. Just you can freeze a bunch of them as well. I like them a little bit more than overnight oats just because they won't go bad because you can freeze them and they last a bit longer in the fridge.
All right, so I'm gonna record a little bit. That's what I do.
So we're making baked oats. We're gonna mix all the dry up. Just wait, I need to focus. 5.
Oh.
And 6. So this in here goes baked oats. It goes oats, protein powder, baking powder, and then into here we're gonna do some almond milk, some egg whites, some nice, delicious bananas here. Ooh. Great way to use up the fruit the kids don't eat. And some honey, and then we're gonna finish it with some chocolate chips. Time to weigh out all the oats. I like to weigh all the dry and all the wet out independently so it's exact, but you could totally do this in one big pan as well. Let's zero out the bowl. You put the empty one on.
0?
Yeah.
Same bowl?
Same bowl. So now we know 729 grams. So I'm going to divide that by 12 and then we know exactly how much to put into each container. Next up, we're gonna add 15 grams, so 1 serving of chocolate chips to these banana oats. The oats are all ready to go. I have all the sweet potato cut up. I just put them into some cold water just because I'm working on some other stuff in the oven. So you can just throw these into water and they'll stay good even overnight. Our rice is finished, ready to go. Our oats are almost ready to come out, and ground beef is ready, cabbage is ready. I'm just gonna do the chicken up next, and then we're gonna start putting together our meal prep containers. Sweet potatoes have just come out of the oven and they smell so good. I like to cook mine to, like, you know, a little bit crispy on the edges, but you just have to make sure that, you know, the current trends of like cooking our food until it's, you know, chips, like in the air fryer and things like that. You just have to be mindful that when you cook them that crispy, you're removing all of the moisture, so it's gonna weigh a lot less, but you still have as many, you know, carbohydrates. And so just to keep in mind, if you're gonna fricasserie your vegetables or your starches, just keep in mind your calories, you know, they're gonna change a little. I'm about to put the chicken into the oven. This week they're from Save-On. I feel like we spend half our time sourcing out where to get the cheapest chicken. It seems to rotate between Costco and Save-On. I just always put this on everything. The Montreal chicken from Costco. It's a nice seasoning that kind of goes with everything. Bodybuilding is very much about eating the exact same thing every single day, every day of the year. It's about being consistent. And I find the best way to kind of keep myself interested in the food while still using kind of the exact same ingredients. It's always kind of a variation of chicken, rice, and a vegetable. If your calories are a bit higher, we do beef, potatoes or rice, and a vegetable. It's always kind of that variation. But I find the best way to kind of keep interest is by adding some sort of sauce. And I usually just use a combination of some different low-calorie ingredients just to kind of jazz it up a bit, make it a bit more exciting, kind of make it feel like you're not just eating the exact same thing, you know, 4 years later. So I'll show you what our favorite sauce is currently. It's kind of a take on a Big Mac sauce, low calorie. I think it comes out to about 60 calories or so. So if you can work that into your macros, it definitely makes, you know, beef and rice a little bit more exciting. So here's the ingredients we're going to use for the Big Mac sauce. And I lied, it's actually only about 32 calories. So definitely worth it if you can work it into the macros, makes it a bit more exciting. So this is kind of my go-to for every meal. Sugar-free ketchup. We're gonna use some green relish. I just use the like super cheap stuff. Greek yogurt, non-fat, some onion powder, some low-calorie mayonnaise, and some vinegar. So we're gonna mix these all up, and then I'll show you what it looks like at the end. I have my Big Mac sauce all made. As you can see, like it looks pretty similar to the real stuff. And because we used low-fat yogurt, it's not very many calories at all. Next, I have weighed out how much is in here. I divided it by 10 portions because that's how much the recipe makes, and that's how much I made all the macros to. Next, we're going to, I use these plastic condiment cups from the dollar store. It's really a great way to pack sauces along. I also reuse them. I wash them a whole bunch of times, so you can get lots of uses out of these. I'm going to be doing 29 grams per. You could also eyeball it if you want. I just like to make sure our macros are as close as possible, so I like to measure everything out. The great thing about using these sauces as well is if you want to kind of meal prep for the whole month, you could make enough beef or enough chicken or whatever protein you're using, you could make enough for the month, and then every week you could just change up what sauces you eat. This can be handy for people that are meal prepping and you have a family, you have a spouse, you have someone else you're also cooking for that maybe isn't as hardcore into bodybuilding as you and they want a bit more flavor. It's a great way to kind of change it up. I also think there's absolutely nothing wrong with being a bodybuilder and also wanting to enjoy the flavor of your food. I know it's kind of told to everyone that bodybuilders, you shouldn't care about what you eat, you just eat your chicken, rice and vegetables every day. And I do eat that every day, but I think it's totally acceptable to want a little bit of flavor in your life. I've been eating chicken, rice, vegetable, beef, rice and vegetable for over 3 years now, 6 days a week. And because I do the extra 5 minutes of effort and add in a sauce here and there, it makes me love my food. I never feel like I am missing out on good food. It makes me crave my food, and it makes me adhere to it, and it makes me stick to the plan, which honestly I think is the most important part about all this. Is you want to do something that's going to make you stick to it, not just for a week or a month, for years. It makes it your lifestyle. If you're one of those people that doesn't care about the flavor as well, that's totally cool too. I think either way is completely acceptable. You just have to do what is going to work for you and what's going to make you stick to the plan. And personally, this is what makes me stick to this food every day of the year. We have everything ready now to assemble our Big Mac bowls. I have cabbage that we cooked up. I also have the cooled rinsed beef. I have all the sauces that we just made, and I also cut up some sweet pickles. I've worked that into our macros to include a couple pickles. I find it kind of just adds a little bit of extra excitement. It's kind of like, the Big Mac flavor. And then I have our food prep containers. You can definitely do, as many as you want and freeze them even. So, on some weeks when I know there's some busy weeks coming up, like in December, for example, I'll probably do this. You can do, 20, 30 at a time if you want. Most of this is always freezable, which is cool. I like to set everything up kind of assembly style, have everything ready to go. So we'll do, rice in every one of them, and then we'll do beef in every one of them, cabbage, and so on. This week, I'm looking at the macros that we'll be doing because Shane's macros have changed this week. So we're gonna do 4 ounces of beef, 150 grams of rice, a package of sauce, the cabbage, and the pickles. Our Big Mac bowls are finished. So as you can see, that goes pretty fast. So even if you're doing, 20 containers at a time, you can get it done really fast. I threw on some ketchup, mustard, because Shane, always likes a little bit of extra toppings on there. So we're just gonna pop these in the fridge. Next up is breakfast. I'm gonna be packaging up some proteins for myself. Shane's not so big on protein powder in his oats, so we're just gonna measure out oats separately for him. I like to just use the cheapest protein powder, personally, I can find. I'm not drinking it, so I don't need anything fancy. Shane, I'm just gonna measure out oats and Daily Cleanse. I'm gonna throw Daily Cleanse in mine as well. It's really good for digestion, especially if you're a bodybuilder. You know, you're eating lots of food and it's really good to have. I also use these little bags. I actually find them in the craft section of the dollar store. I think it's like 50 of them for $1, so it's super cheap. And then it's kind of like making your own little Quaker packages, right? And then I reuse each bag like 20 times. So I like to be frugal. Bodybuilding is super expensive, so I try to keep it cheap wherever I can. I find pre-packaging them doesn't seem like a big deal to weigh out your oats in the morning. However, all of a sudden, if you know a meeting comes up, like Shane, sometimes he has a meeting come up and he doesn't have time to measure out something, or you know the kids are being crazy, something comes up, it's super easy just to grab the pre-measured pack, throw it into the bowl, it's ready in 2 seconds. The key is just always kind of eliminating any area for excuse. So these packages are a big time saver. This week Shane is at 60 grams of oats. That's gonna work for his macros this week. So I'm just gonna measure out 60 grams here. And then I'm gonna do a scoop of Daily Cleanse. And then we're just gonna throw it into the package. I love these cups that you get at Popeyes because they're bendy. So it's super easy to get these into the bowl. Or into the package. Just gonna seal it. It's good to go. So then you have your own homemade kind of Quaker oat pack. I have 30 grams of oats. I'm on cycle dieting, so my calories are a lot lower during the week. So I'm just gonna measure out 30 grams. I can also do a scoop of Daily Cleanse. And then for my proteins, I'm gonna add in a scoop of protein powder. I'm gonna measure that in. And then just like Shane's, I'm gonna get the package. So there we have it. We have a little baggie with everything we need. So measuring out 3 ingredients every day, you know, at 5 minutes all week, it kind of saves some time. So I'm gonna go ahead and do up enough for the whole week. Oatmeal packages are all finished. I have all my proteins here, and I have all of Shane's measured here. So now everything is good to go for the week. We just grab it out, add some water. It's already measured, makes mornings super, super easy. So we are on to our final meal prep for the day, the chicken meal. Chicken is out of the oven. I have pre-cut it. I find it makes it a little bit easier to portion out when it's already cut. It also brings Shane a lot of happiness to have his meat cut for him, so if I can bring him that small pleasure in life, why not? Also have rice. I have the sweet potatoes from earlier. I'm also going to use up some of this cabbage from the beef bowls. This week I'm changing things up a bit with some corn. A 1/4 cup is the same macros as our other vegetables that we have, so why not? Keep it interesting. Shane also has a few more macros to work with these days now that he's transitioned off of cycle dieting. So I'm able to work in a tablespoon of teriyaki sauce for him. It's actually not too bad. It's 5 grams of carbs per. So I'm gonna add this and make a stir fry for him. Kind of change it up, a little bit different from what he's been eating the last couple of years. My macros are lower just because I'm on cycle dieting. So I'm gonna keep mine pretty simple with just chicken, sweet potato, and some corn or some of the cabbage. Same idea as last time. We're just gonna lay out all of our food prep containers and we're gonna do everything assembly line. Also found some really cool holiday gold Tupperware, so we're gonna get fancy this week. I'm not sure why, but when I get the exact amount in the scoop and it's exactly what number it needs to be, I feel like a superstar. Stir fries are measured out. I'm gonna go bring these over to the stove to stir fry. Some people like to do them in like a big batch and then just weigh them out and separate them. That's fine. I've been known to be a little OCD, so I like to do each one individually. I just kind of stir fry it as I'm doing other stuff and it doesn't take very long. So I'm just gonna go ahead and stir fry these up. Add the tablespoon of teriyaki sauce with a tablespoon of water. Get that going. I also gonna do a teaspoon of oil for Shane this week into each stir fry just to meet his fat macros that he's at. So while the stir fry is cooking, I'm gonna go multitask and measure out my sweet potato and chicken and vegetables for myself. I find the best way to make sure you get everything done on time is just to keep moving. So instead of just waiting for these to cook, just multitask and do something while these are cooking. So the chicken meals are all measured out. While I was measuring those out, I also got all the stir fries done. So put a little bit of soy sauce on here. I put mustard and ketchup on these guys. I added the cabbage as well because I forgot I had that. I'm gonna do a little bit of cleanup now. I like to say I'm one of those chefs that, you know, when I'm done cooking, everything has been cleaned as I went, clean as I gone. But it's not, it's usually a bit of a shit show, so that's all right. I'm gonna get to doing some cleaning. I just finished cleanup. The kitchen is back to its regular order. I also packaged up the leftover rice, leftover sweet potato, and the leftover chicken. These all freeze really well, so I'm gonna pop them into the freezer. I'll use them again next week. This is my favorite part, opening up the fridge and seeing everything is ready to go for the week. We have our baked oats that we made earlier, chicken and sweet potato, the stir fries, we have the beef bowls, everything's ready to go. The best part is now, no matter how busy the day gets, everything is ready to go. We just grab it, throw it into the gym bag, throw it into the car, whatever, it's ready to go. Is it easy to meal prep? No. Does it take a bit of your day? Yeah, it's definitely a lot of work, but it is totally worth it because it makes the rest of your week so easy, especially if you're like us and you're not at home very often. You're out with the kids or you're at the gym. This makes it so you can stay on track. You have no excuses to hit your macros, to get to your goals. Being a bodybuilder isn't always about, taking the easiest route. When you have certain physique goals, you have to make it a priority. Consistency is definitely the key factor when it comes to bodybuilding. So meal prep is essential. You can do it as simple as you want. You can jazz things up like I did today with some sauces. And thank you so much, you guys, for watching. We really appreciate you guys following along on our new YouTube journey. Let us know in the comments below what you thought. I'd love to know what you meal prep. We're always looking for new ideas. Thanks so much for watching, you guys, and happy cooking.